I'm Coach Brian. I have been a health coach, a nutrition, fitness, lifestyle expert for the last 20 years. I have an exercise degree. I've owned gyms, been a personal trainer. I do remote health and nutrition coaching right now. People young, old, healthy, sick, chronically ill. People who know a lot about taking care of themselves and others that have no clue at all. So I help make some pretty cool transformations in people's everyday lives. All right, let's jump into today's conversation. Retrain your brain for power of positivity. I just got a good workout in. I've got blood flowing, and I'm ready to talk about some of the great things being positive. I'm very much a sun is always shining, glass is half full type of energy. So on today's agenda, we're going to talk about the benefits of positive attitude, the dangers of being negative. And nobody likes that. Where do you land in the middle? Do you trend toward the positive or the negative? I got a hand raised. Andrew, if you want to hit the chat up, let me know. I'm going to keep plugging through here. How do we reverse your thought process if we trend toward negative or have some negative issue start showing up? Retrain the brain for success and then positive activities to keep you trending in that right direction. So number one, benefits of positive attitude. Of course, we know lifespan longevity improves. Your risk of depression or anxiety lessens. You manage stress a lot better. You have a better immunity. You're less likely to get sick. We're exiting the summer, entering the fall, and ultimately the winter. So what happens there is people get a little more sick there. Your cardiovascular health is up. You decrease potential risk of heart disease and cholesterol and blood pressure and a lot of these things that are causing ultimately premature deaths to Americans and a lot of people around the world as well. Your positive attitudes cope with hard challenges that life can bring. Life is always going to throw curveballs at us. We want to make sure that we're able to hit the ball when it comes through across the plate, so to speak, using a baseball analogy. So positivity, when experiencing positive emotions, we have joy, happiness, contentment, love, passion. There's so many things that get us to wear a smile on our face. These positive emotions keep our mind open, keep our hearts open, keep us looking for opportunities to improve your lifestyle, your skill set, your job, your career, your family, bringing a lot of value, not only to your own life, but to those around you as well. And what better thing to do than to, raise up and lift up everyone in your area. So looking at the Q&A box here. Oh, I need to exit that. I don't think I can hit the Q&A. I'll come to that at the end if you want to put stuff in Q&A. I know the chat box is open. I'm not sure if you're able to get to that. So next up is happiness and health benefits. The act of happiness provides obviously many benefits to your everyday life. Okay, your body functions better. Your mind to muscle to movement. Those neural connectivities. You're more productive. You do better with your time. You make things happen. You're a problem solver. You troubleshoot better. You think more clearly. People on your team want you around because you actually do something and help problem solve and get work done. And increase attractiveness, right? If someone's wearing a smile, they're more attractive to someone than someone might be wearing a frown. And this leads to more healthy, positive thoughts and behaviors and actions that go through that. Now, what we have is through the act of being positive, optimistic, hopeful, it decreases your body's ability for cortisol, producing serotonin, and it allows you to just always have more of a feel-good energy about you. So different parts of the brain do different things. Of course, the prefrontal cortex helps us regulate our body's transmission from brain parts to your body and allows you to think and reflect on what you're doing physically, so you're more in tune with your activity and movement patterns. You're able to control emotional responses for the better, able to handle and embrace other emotional activities that come your way. Everything is, there's a lot of external input coming toward you in your day-to-day, and that's something that your brain is constantly filtering through what's important versus what's not. It gives you the ability to focus on whatever you choose. So you can actually focus and not be distracted or end up in worry or anxiety or something like that. Now, John Hopkins' study here with people of family history of heart disease that had a positive outlook were 1/3 less likely to have a heart attack within the next 5 to 25 years than those with a more negative outlook. So that ends up being a challenge for people to, if you're negative begets more negative. You think of problems rather than solutions. You don't see the opportunities for those around you and the things and whatever's happening in your everyday life. They were 13% less likely than their negative counterparts to suffer a heart attack. So that's pretty significant here in terms of just having a more positive attitude and energy. Now, according to another study, Harvard School of Public Health, most medical and public health efforts today focus on reducing risks for diseases. Evidence has been mounting that enhancing physiological resilience, staying positive as an example, or being able to overcome some of the challenges that you experience in your day-to-day make a difference. So being resilient and overcoming obstacles, creating solutions, you do just literally better. So the study, 70,000 women over 8-year period. So that's a pretty significant amount of data collected. The most optimistic women, the top quartile, had nearly 30% lower risk of dying from any disease analyzed in the study compared to the least optimistic. So we got some hands raised. Give me a second. Let me unshare. I think that's how I need to get to the Q&A box. There we go. Chat is disabled. Gotcha. I am unfortunately unable to figure out how to do that. Let me see if there's show chat previews. No. The Q&A box is open though, so if you want to put some questions or anything, then just we'll do it in there. Let me check one more thing here. Sometimes they give me opportunities to, the chat box is open or just the Q&A box. That's something that exceeds my technological expertise here. So, let's see here too. All right. So Jason, do you have anything that you'd like to input? I see some hands getting raised. Hopefully it's just about the chat, but okay, cool. Thank you. All right, onward we go because we have limited time and I like to talk. So thank you. Let's get back to sharing that. All right, onward we go. So Studies show better. Another study, yet another one, University of Pennsylvania measured the degree of which insurance salespeople were optimistic or pessimistic in their work. That can be a challenging work position. Sales is challenging, right? Not everyone wants what you're selling, even though people need insurance, but it feels like that, door knocker situation. You're like, no, thank you, I'm not interested. But if someone the power of positivity comes with an optimistic energy, they have a significantly more likely to not only stay in the business, but actually make money and continue doing that career path and improving, insurance. Insurance is what it is, right? You need it on a variety of different things. And I have 4 kids, so I'm paying a fair amount for health insurance and all this other stuff too, which is tons of fun. But being positive and optimistic in your work position always makes for the better. So positivity in your health. And so showing love, joy, gratitude, hope, optimism as it's inside us. And you'll always know and can reference people who are just happier, who are joyful, who are hopeful, right? As opposed to people who are grumpy all the time. They're a lot more open-minded, they're creative, they're open to collaboration, which is so important, especially if you're in a team situation like you are at your job. And then effective problem-solving skills. Now, thinking happy to be happy. There's 70,000 thoughts rolling around in your head, plus or minus 10,000 or something like that, right? Some people have some overactive thoughts and others not as much. They're either building you up or tearing you down. The outside influence, especially through media, can generally be negative. So if you're constantly observing negativity in your social media, in the newscast, and what's happening in the world, you're going to be influenced with that negativity. So these actions expand or contract in different areas of your brain and get you to think or feel or say or affect you day in, day out. Look on the bright side and refocus your brain from when our negative thoughts occur. There's a good strategy that I got from good old Tony Robbins. You put a rubber band on your wrist, and if you are wanting to go down the rabbit hole of negativity, whether it's around yourself or around a work project or at home or whatever, you take this rubber band. Every time you catch yourself in that thought process and pattern, you pull it and you let it go. What it is, it snaps and it kind of hurts and stings a little bit. It's a pattern interrupt. It's a way to break the pattern and the cycle of this negative loop that keeps going and going and going as we do. So that's a really useful way to initially just get you moving in the right direction and becoming a lot more aware of your patterns of behavior. So we have dangers of negativity. Certainly, we're not as enthusiastic, we're not motivated, we're not happy, more anxiety and stress, procrastination, you aren't hitting your goals. Your brain is foggy, it's hard to make thought processes happen, it's hard to find clear solutions. If we go to our basic instincts of human, it's like fight or flight. Both of them aren't good situations, right? We're fighting, and that's not a good energy to use. And fleeing isn't, we can't run away from the challenges that we face every day. So you end up just being in this more stressful situation. And your memory isn't as good. You just can't recall the things that you need. Worry kicks up. It gets into that fight or flight type of ability and sensitivity. Your brain stores negativity differently than it would positivity, and it triggers easier that type of course of actions that happen once you get triggered with, oh, this one thing happened to me, right? It always comes in 3, they say. So this one thing happens up, there must be 2 more things that are negative going to happen to me, right? And that is just you starting to open up your mind to the possibility that there are 2 more things that are actually going to be negative to you that day. So it's a real stress on your body, on your brain, on the people around you. You are full of fear, anger, stress. People aren't attracted to that, right? It's challenging to manage those situations. There's a to-do list, right? Who doesn't have a to-do list? I have one, and it's long, and I keep avoiding it. Go figure, right? Even with my positive energy, I'd rather do things that I want to do rather than I have to do. And some of these things just need done. So I'll obviously get to them. It's just I need to get to them. So you feel bad about, so like saying not taking care of yourself. That adds up. Not eating nutritiously, not taking time to move and walk your body and all that it does add up and wears down on you. You become less resilient the more out of shape you get. Okay? So having a negative attitude is more than just your mindset. It does trend into you just eating chips or snacking all the time instead of actually eating a meal. You don't go exercise because you're, quote, tired. You aren't taking care of yourself. You're staying up too late at night watching Netflix. You aren't getting an appropriate amount of sleep to stay rested, recharged, and again, resilient for what the day's needs are. So there's that negative images, self-esteem that are just really robbing not only your energy, but your life. Yesterday I had a lady I talked to that had lupus. She had fibromyalgia, stage 3 kidney disease. She needed to lose at least 80 pounds, had hypertension, was medicated. And this was all for like the last 20 years of her life. Imagine the impact that has on herself because of the situation that she's in. That's tremendous. She's not living the life that she would want. There's just no way. So why is it hard to actually be positive sometimes? Well, humans, where our lizard brain takes over and survival is at its core roots. So we're always focused on what's best for me. How am I going to survive? Even I'll talk with people that have like food insecurity, like they're not going to eat their next meal or something. And that I just ask a simple question: when have you not been able to eat food? And like in the last 5 years, they can't tell me one time that they have gone without the opportunity to be fed. So that's something that we need to break down so that we get out of this, say, Last Supper type mentality and just always overeating or something and just just over-consuming. So where do you land? Let's kind of check in with that. Are you a half full or half empty type person? So types of negative self-talk. So we have perfection or polarizing. To summarize this, things are either good or bad. There's no middle ground. You're either perfect or total failure. The next lady I'm talking to really has that type mindset. Mother of 3, 10 and younger. She is a CPA that owns a business with 20 employees. She's going to run a marathon in 4 weeks in Chicago in October. She has a perfectionist mindset and has to do things by the numbers. Our goal is to find middle gear, to find a better relationship with food, activity, her lifestyle, sleep, because she is scheduled to the max, and we need to find some balance so that she cannot live in all or nothing with all of those responsibilities for herself. Catastrophizing, you dream up the worst possible outcome. Who does that? One thing happens and then all of a sudden it expands into this giant situation and it's like the worst thing ever. And gets like this doom-like state or qualities to it. That's a real thing. Personalizing. Something happened at work and you blame yourself for it. When you might have had very little to do with what happened. A friend cancels plans, you assume it must be your fault, that they don't want to spend time with you. That's one way of that. Next up, filtering, searching for negative aspects. So you're always looking for not the positive things, but the negative things that show up for you. Vacation was mostly great, but then you complain about the delayed flight, or maybe the waitress at that one restaurant you went to just was like really worn out by the time that you showed up, and the service wasn't as good. And those are the things you highlight about telling someone on the trip, not about how you were able to hang out on the beach, you were exploring and adventuring or something like that. Now, there's internal in our brain that comes out of us, and then we have external that goes into us. And our abilities to process the internal, most importantly, of what's going on in your brain, and then the external managing all the influence of what it is. So internal, an individual attributes their success to their own abilities, whereas the external, they think it might be luck. Internal, individuals expect to succeed and are motivated to learn. I'm much more of an internal type person. I'd much rather learn how to be successful than just hope that I'm going to be successful, or just I'm going to roll a lucky dice and win the lottery or something. So optimism, feeling happy, being social, good relationships, healthy habits around yourself, around others. You're probably going to get sick less. Pessimism, you're going to assume there's going to be setbacks, there's going to be failure. You're 8 times more likely to be depressed and have lower energy around you and about you. Your lower performance at work, at home, in relationships around you. Now, reversing the thought process. How do we get our brains to actually course correct if you find yourself in the more pessimistic or lower energy attitude? Even me and other overly happy people will have downtimes. So we want to do a pattern interrupt. We want to think about what's going on in the brain, where is it going in this rabbit hole, and what are you thinking? What is the attitude of your thoughts? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it toward self-care or away as defeat? Awareness and mindfulness go tremendously far in shaping what you see and being present in those decisions or thought processes or habits or behaviors that come out of your mind throughout your words and your actions. So building positive circuits here. So one of the activities is spend 1 minute looking for positives 3 times a day for 45 days. If you did that and you had to say scheduled on your calendar, to the calendar schedule is the pattern interruption in your day to stop what you're doing, to spend 1 minute to think of something positive that's happening. There are always positives. The repetition of this causes you to start to think differently or be more likely to be pulled toward positive activities. We want to try to ignore the negative Nancy's, but there's a lot of nice Nancy's out there too. And so, but you want to be surrounding yourself or in the situations that build you up, that lift you up, that give you energy, that give you positive feedback and connection, so that it's easier to stay in a healthy, happy relationship. Be realistic. Okay? The power to choose your next move is on you. You have choice in all of this life, and your micro decisions every day lead up to the general habits and behaviors that are your life. You are where you're at right now in your life because of the choices you made, even the job you're in, or the person you married, or the kids. Most people, I have 4 kids. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Biologically I get it, but I'm how do I end up there? But my real my reality is that. So I need to accept that and really spend time and energy in my family to make sure it's good and it's whole and it's as best it can be. You never predict the results of your efforts. You have to always work on the inputs, the things that you have control over to get the output that you want. Okay, we don't expect the output. We don't expect to, say, if your weight loss journey, we're not expecting to be 30 pounds down in a month. We need to get more water, get more sleep, eat more vegetables, have healthier, lower fat foods, less processed foods. Those are just general things that are going to move you in the direction toward losing the 30 pounds, as a sense. All failure is a learning experience, an opportunity to see that there's a different way to do something. So we can always take failure and learn from it. Oftentimes, like an entrepreneur's journey, a series of failures lead to a breakthrough because they've learned lessons on how to do things differently and better. Ruminating or problem solving. Do you spend more time talking about the problem and the negative situation and how it's impacting you? Or are you spending more time looking to, how do I solve this? If we spend, and you just need to figure out which way you trend toward here so you can keep your brain, your body, and everything moving in the right direction. Now, take your own medicine, okay? People are overly critical about themselves. They beat themselves up. There's a lack of self-compassion in this situation. And the more that we can bring grace into some of these situations, it increases your motivation to do better, to have more self-love, to take care of yourself more better. Now, taking a few minutes to tune in with yourself. So that habit of spending 3 1-minute chunks in a day, you can pause and evaluate the emotions that you might be feeling, from anger, happy, love, sadness, to surprise. These things will help you. You can label how you're feeling and then start to work around that. If it's a negative type situation, and work toward self-improvement for the positive. We want to balance your emotions with logic, okay? Always pause before you react. Always stop to think about before you speak. Always take a moment before you take action. Oftentimes that initial reaction might not be the best, and we need to take a second to think through what we need to do. We need to create a list of what might be good or what might be bad about different situations on how to improve your balance in your lifestyle and how you impact yourself. Counting down, it's very powerful. Count from 10 to 1 or even 5 to 1 or even 3 to 1. That is a pattern interrupt that allows you to pause, become aware of what's going on, and connect with what a better emotional outlet is going to look like. So by taking deep breaths and counting backwards, you can really slow things down to get more improvement. So let's chat. What are other stress-reducing techniques that you find helpful in your situation? So you can hit up the Q&A, can stop it. I know we're starting to run out of time. They definitely didn't give me enough time on this one. I'm going to make a note to my person and say, hey, this many slides needs at least another 15 minutes here. So I'm going to stop the share here. Let me go to this. Walking, deep breaths are good ones to do. For journaling, listening to music, talking to someone that you love, so writing down your thoughts, practicing gratitude. There's so many like gratitude journals out there, or productivity journals, are ways to keep yourself focused on what's important to you as we go through this. Riding a bike, walking the dog. Your dog will love you if you keep walking that dog every step of the way. Okay. So I'm going to jump back in now. If you can hang with me a little bit longer, we have about 47 total slides. So I'm doing my best here to work through them in the time that we have. I wish they would have given us another 15 minutes. But if you have to go, I understand. So I'm going to try and finish this out here pretty quick. So we're retraining the brain for success. Daily gratitude, right? Writing things down, focusing on the positive, having a gratitude jar, telling your spouse, your partner, a friend, a family member something positive about them really is going to improve that relationship constantly. Using mantras. I have an I am statement sheet that I have for my clients to do. I am powerful. I am strong. I am beautiful. I am enthusiastic. I am confident. I am energetic. I am bold. I am funny. I am strong. All these things can become personal mantras that boost you up, that give that internal kick in the butt that you need to push through this moment of pause that's happening for yourself. It's writing it down, right? A lot of these things we just talked about. If you write it down, get it out of your head, especially before you go to bed, then you allow your mind to be at ease. And you can just say, hey, subconscious, solve this problem for me. Because you usually have the answers inside to be able to think through what needs to happen. But if it's up in here, it jumbles around, it keeps you up, keeps you staring at the ceiling, even though you're exhausted and you want to sleep. So writing things down, especially before bed, can be a powerful way to stay centered, to stay focused on the task in hand. And at bedtime, it's sleep time, not thinking about the last day's problems or the next days. We can worry about that when we wake up. But even if you write down the top 3 things you need to do for tomorrow, then you're going to be a little bit more at ease. So when you wake up, you can get to it. So staying centered is breath work, is like yoga or meditation, focusing on awareness with yourself, staying present. This is the only place that we should be, right? Right here, paying attention to retraining your brain. And the more that you're actively present and focused, the more you can get out of this and tap into the positive things that are going to happen in your day-to-day. So that I can't tell you how often people spend a lot of time elsewhere. Like you're in front of your spouse and they're talking to you and you're thinking about the work day. It's not helpful for you or your spouse, your relationship there, or your partner, or even your dog. Dog's like, are we out going for a walk and having fun, or what are we doing here? So eat well, drink well, sleep well, move well. Just taking care of yourself goes a significantly long way. I talk to people every day, hours a day, to help them improve their everyday life, to just have more energy, be more productive, and be successful in what's most important to them. And food is a really good start for it. Being kind, sometimes the best way to help yourself is to stay positive throughout the day. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Build up, not tear down. It will have a ripple effect. You will always be known as a positive person at work, at home, at church, at your run group, at friends game club, whatever you do, you will have that as a great opportunity. We want to swap negative thoughts with positive ones. So I will never get this project done to I will complete this project if I focus. I'm going to set reasonable goals and reasonable timelines to do this. I hate how this dress looks or this shirt looks on me. Like I am beautiful, I'm handsome, I am good enough, right? If you are of the age, I might date myself, Saturday Night Live, Stuart Smalley, I'm good enough, I'm strong enough, and doggone it, people like me. So, especially with Michael Jordan, that definitely dates me. Positivity actions here. So writing down things that you love about yourself, things that you are grateful for. You could take a picture of this. 3 things that you are good at, a challenge and a positive step you are taking to overcome something in your everyday. This will keep you very much so trending in a positive. And it's something you can always look at and refer back to stay on top of it, to stay energetic. So staying positive, utilizing techniques that we've talked about, all the things. A lot of it just goes back to basic awareness of understanding if you're happier or not so happy and how that affects your everyday life. So I want to thank you. I did my best to get in 30 minutes. So here we are at the end. I appreciate your time, those who stayed till the end. I hope that you've gotten a lot out of this. If you have any questions, just ask. The Q&A box is open. So I really want to thank you.